having a great conversation, a great time with Monty Roberts. He's known as the Horse Whisperer. He's helping veterans returning from combat situations, as well as just being away from home, frankly, who suffer from PTSD, post-traumatic stress injury.
Yeah.
And he's based in the Santa Barbara, Solvang area, and is a delight. You sound like the kind of guy people just want to hang out with.
Well, I've been very fortunate to meet some wonderful people around the world, and I travel a lot, and I hope I'm a good visitor with people, and I hope I'm a good mentor to the youngsters that come along. We have our International Instructors Conference this coming week.
And what is that about?
It's about 57 instructors that I have around the world that have been trained and certified in my concepts so that they can conduct schools which bring people along. And we've just added a segment to that, which will be training people to do the therapy on returning veterans.
Are most people afraid of horses? I mean, they are large. You mentioned that they're 1,000, 1,200 pounds.
Sure. Most people, having no contact with horses, are very afraid of horses. You can take the gang leader from South Los Angeles and put him in a round pen with a horse, and he'll melt down. He's not going to challenge that one. So they are frightened. But most people simply respect them, and they don't expect for them to be aggressive because they've read about them or seen them. And there is a strong compatibility once you learn the language, and you can learn the language very quickly. And one thing is for sure, the encyclopedias are even changing because they have finally agreed that I have discovered the language which we call Equus.
The horse language, Equus. Oh, that's very good.
Yeah.
How did you get involved with horses?
Well, I wasn't in the horse business till I was 3. At 4, I was in competition.
Oh, wow.
And I was in competition under the hands of a father who had a riding school and a training stable and wanted to be the best in the world. And everybody around him was going to be helping him be the best in the world. And I was to go out there as a very young, protege, genius horse rider. I rode 7-8 hours a day at the age of 3 and 4.
Oh, my.
Yeah, and they sent me all over the United States to compete against kids that rode an hour on Saturday. And so I won everything. And that's no big deal. But for him, he got more students out of it.
Got it.
And I was to do what he said to do at the moment he asked for it, or I would get a beating.
Uh-oh.
And I had 72 broken bones, now provable, with MRIs and CAT scans. I had 72 broken bones before the age of 12, before the age of puberty.
Oh, my goodness.
So I have my own PTSD.
Yeah, you sure do. And did the horses help you overcome that?
Oh, indeed they did. It was the horses that saved me. And a 8th grade teacher named Sister Agnes Patricia, and without those two, I wouldn't be here today.
And where did you grow up?
Salinas, California, on the competition grounds there, and I lived about a month out of each year in the Cow Palace in San Francisco, where they had the national finals for first juniors and then open. And I was a national champion in the juniors and a national champion in the open in the same year.
Oh, boy. I mean, horse blood runs in your veins.
It does. It certainly does. And, we've had a few people in tennis and in golf which have been brought up that kind of protege. But it was brutal. It was extremely brutal.
Today, are horses being trained properly, do you think? Are they still? You mentioned at the beginning of the last segment that horses are that whips are still the most purchased
Oh, yeah.
item in a tax shop.
It's my hope now that I can change or modify 50% of the training that's being done globally. We're probably at about 40 now, and I'm 79 next week. So I don't know whether I can do it or not, but with 57 instructors, I'm hoping that the next generation will, because I got the ball rolling now, and I'm changing Brazil as we watch. I have had some kind of luck in that a student of mine took my books to the Comandante training the police in Brazil,
Right.
and we're changing the police training in Brazil overnight. It's unbelievable. In fact, in July, I go to Windsor Castle, and the Queen is going to produce a certificate to the Comandante for his work to take the violence out of the police work in Brazil.
Monty, we are running out of time. I really appreciate your joining us today. We'll have to do this again, and Daryl and I will come up and visit you sometime in Solvang. We promise.
I would love to have you do that, and you tell my contacts that we needed an hour and a half or so.
You got it. We'll do that. You're terrific. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mark.
Monty Roberts, helping veterans cope with
PTSD.
Post-traumatic stress injury.
That's
Terrific. Coming up next, we're going to talk with Roxanne and introduce Daniel Fabricant from the NPA.